So you did the football thing. Why go into real estate?
NFL stands for not for long, okay? Worked my whole life for 1 year, but it was a tough season. A lot of highs, a lot of lows. There's a price to pay. We get to the title company, they cut the check, go back to my car, open it, and it's $1,000. And
how did that feel?
Oh, I cried. Yeah, I had grown man tears because I knew that this was going to be enough to help our current situation.
Guys, first deal, dollars in equity. Hey YouTube, I got a treat for you today. I have a new team member in the house. This man played for the Tennessee Titans. This man preaches from the pulpit. This man's been in real estate for a while, and I'm blessed to have him on my team. This is Winston Wright. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, Michael. Glad to be here. Glad to be a part of the team.
All right. Well, we're just going to go through a few questions today. I want to start with your background. You obviously have a lot that you've gone through. Take us through that whole backstory. You can even start early in life, but I want to hear about football. I want to hear about preaching, what got you into real estate, all that.
Sure. Yeah. So sports has obviously been a big part of my life, football specifically. Growing up, I come from a dad who wanted us to really, it came down to two things: love Jesus and be phenomenal football players. That was it. That was on the agenda every day. Growing up as a kid, we would read the word, then we would go hit the field. And that was a schedule for the majority of my life. And so graduated high school, went on to play football, South Dakota State University. We were national champs last year. Thought I'd throw that in there. Jackrabbits. And upon graduating, I got to pursue my football career with the Tennessee Titans. For a year. NFL stands for not for long, okay? Worked my whole life for 1 year, but it was definitely dream come true, you know, to walk in that locker room, to have your name on the locker, have a jersey with your name on the back, just all those times at the football field with my pops growing up, dream come true, you know, not everybody gets to do it.
I competed at a high level, track and field, and all that, not at a professional level by any means, but I understand that level of discipline, that level of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
Kind of go into like how hard you had to work to get to that NFL level, what all went into it, and maybe how that translates a little bit into real estate and why you've had some success there.
Sure. So once you get to the NFL level, everybody's good. Everybody's strong, everybody's fast, everybody is gifted or skillful. So there's really no margin for error. It truly is a game of inches. So that definitely helps as far as needing to prepare. You know you have to prepare, right, before you step out there. But I guess the process to get to that place takes a ton of blood, sweat, and tears, a ton of discipline, ton of consistency, overcoming injuries. That's something that a lot of athletes don't talk about, but yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, but if you love something, you know, you will continue on the path, you will continue on the journey, and there's a price to pay, you know, and as long as you wake up and you pay that price, you'll eventually get what God has for you.
Love it.
Yeah.
So you did the football thing.
Yeah.
You got to see that dream through to some extent.
Sure.
Tell me about that transition from football to preaching to folks.
Okay. So the football to preaching, that transition really wasn't all that difficult because I was already doing that while I was a football player. It wasn't.
Tell me about that.
Sure. So it really started in college. I would say my dad, he kind of imposed his dad card and saying we had to go to church and had to read the Bible and had to go to the football field. When I got to college and he wasn't no longer over my shoulder, I realized a lot of what he was saying was right, you know. And in high school, just being a teenager, comes with its challenges. When I got to college, my faith, I began to take my faith seriously. I got around the right people, started doing Bible studies with my teammates, we went on mission trips while I was in college. So those young adult years in college was really important and played a big factor in my faith. So my faith played a big part in how I pursued my sport. I made sure that because I profess my faith, that I was going to be the first one at practice. I was going to be the last to leave. I was going to make sure that my work ethic was a reflection of the God that I served, right? And it wasn't, I guess looking back, it seems strategic, but the reality is once your life is changed by Jesus, you have a relationship with him in the Holy Spirit. He will naturally guide you to excellence. Like he is excellent. His being is excellent, so he, in a way, and it transcended in my grades, football. I was a poor student in high school. I graduated All-American on the football field and an academic All-American. Something happened in between the high school and college days, and I 100% know that it was being committed to my faith.
Love that.
Yep.
So I had gone to a church, Abundant Life. You obviously go there as well. Mm-hmm. I was blessed enough to go to church one day thinking that our pastor was going to speak, and this was my first experience with Winston, steps onto the stage, phenomenal. At the very end, you gave quite the speech that got me going. It was truly an incredible presentation. Made me want to bolster my faith. So you were making such an impact up there for the Lord. It's obviously very important to you, very important to me. Why go into real estate?
Sure.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a good question. So me and my wife, we got married in 2018. That's right around when I joined staff, and then we had COVID. And that same exact year, we had a baby girl. She's my oldest, and it was a tough season. My wife, she experienced some postpartum depression. It's fairly common, believe it or not. A lot of people don't talk about it, but we were made aware of it in COVID on top of it, and we hit some financial things that came up with health related. We had to cut our lease, and as much as I enjoyed ministry, as much as I love being a youth pastor, I realized that at least right now, I don't have the means for my family, for my wife and my newborn baby. So that began to get my wheels turning, right? I'm like, I got to figure something out because I love serving people, but I refuse to serve the world and neglect my family, right? So again, got the wheels turning, just hopped on YouTube, hopped on Google. I had a really good close buddy of mine. He was doing real estate. He was wholesaling some deals. We had a conversation. We sat down. He showed me what he did, kind of the proof of concept, if you will. And that's all I needed to see.
That's awesome. I actually resonate with that a lot, YouTube. I was a teacher. I've shared about that a lot of times in the past. Actually loved teaching. I loved coaching cross country and track. But no matter how hard I worked, I just couldn't get ahead financially. There was even a phase where I thought I might lose my home. We're talking about niche lists and helping people in foreclosure, and that's partially why my heart's drawn to it, because I went through that same phase to where I was trying so hard to provide for my family, and I just wasn't. And that's what led me into real estate. So love that. Tell me about a lot of people on this channel, they're looking for their first deal. They're looking to get that proof of concept. Before we even met, really, you were getting into real estate. Tell me about your first deal. What really got that belief system going that you could get a deal?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I had a buddy of mine I met in college, and he was doing some wholesale deals. He was also doing some fix and flips, and he I think his method was he just got on Craigslist, found a tired landlord that wanted to rent the property. He called up the landlord and he locked it up, and moved it, made 10, 15 grand, and I'm scraping over here. So I'm just like, I got access to Craigslist. It didn't cost him anything to find this deal. And so I did attempt that particular method of just finding tired landlords. I ended up stumbling upon driving for dollars, right? I love driving for dollars because it is live data, right?
Absolutely.
You're literally laying eyes on a property, and it lets you know that it's distressed. So there may be something there. So that's how I found my first deal. Just driving for dollars, called up the.
What'd the house look like? Give us some details, just so we can really visualize it.
Sure. So it was actually a duplex, and the duplex was kind of falling apart. The gutters was kind of hanging down, and the paint was kind of distressed. Like, you just know once you're in the space long enough, like,
You got that gut feeling.
you just get that, you develop it, and it's not even, it won't take very long, it's just once you're made aware, you actually start looking for it. It actually becomes, what's the word?
Almost second nature?
Second nature. Yeah, it's almost like it's thrown in your face. Like, it's hard not to not see it anymore. And so the house was falling apart. It did have people living in there. Called them up, and sweet gal, older lady. Her husband was going through some health issues. He couldn't take care of the property anymore. She had already moved to Texas from Kansas City. And in the next handful of months, he was going to join her. So this was a problem that I had the opportunity of solving. This gentleman was a very hardworking man, had bought these rentals at just the auction steps or at the county steps, fixed them up, and he was still trying to fix up these properties. And his wife was like, come to Texas. We need you here. You had all these health issues, and he's just this has been his life. He's a hardworking man. So I meet him. I say, hey, I'm young, your wife needs you back home. Let's work something out, just take what you need, leave what you don't need. And it was a duplex, and it was a triplex. It was a package deal.
Okay.
Got him under contract, found an end buyer, and went to the title company. They called me, said everything went through. Again, this has never happened. This is also around the same time. Me and my wife, we had to break our lease for some reasons, and was just really struggling.
So your back was kind of up against a wall, and you were having to force something to provide for your family?
100%. I was still working at the church, and in the evenings when I got off of work, that's when I would drive. On the weekends is when I would drive. On the evenings is when I would call. Just any time I had an opportunity to see if this worked, I was on it.
And I just want to point this out, guys. Winston was struggling financially just like I was, but he wasn't just sitting back at a computer on YouTube watching videos, trying to learn. He was out there taking imperfect action. He was forced into providing for his family. That's exactly how it was for me. Sometimes your back's got to be pushed up against the wall, and you got to be forced to provide. So I don't love that you had to go through that, but sometimes that galvanizes you as a person and galvanizes your belief.
Yeah.
So love to hear that. Finish up that story there.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's exactly what happened to me. And we get to the title company, and they cut the check. I go back to my car, open it, and it's $5,000. And
How did that feel?
Oh, I cried.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I had grown man tears because I knew that this was going to be enough to help our current situation. And I just thanked the Lord. I saw that 5,000. I cried. I thanked the Lord. I had proof of concept, and it's just kind of off to running after that.
You earned that $5,000. That opened up that proof of concept. But throughout that whole process, did you know what you were doing that whole time, or were you just taking imperfect action? What did that feel like? Were you confident that whole time it was going to close? Did you know what was going on? Kind of share those feelings with me.
Yeah, I think I had a strong idea that it would, just because I had people that I knew personally, that I trusted, tell me and show me that it was. But then there's still that little part that goes, until it actually follows through and happens, and I see the end result of it. There was always that little hint of, is this real? Until it actually happened. And then I go deposit the check, and they're like, we got to put a hold on this, because I've never had to have a hold on my checks before. So I was just like, it's happening. This is real.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, I had watched you do a number of deals online, really hadn't met you yet. And then we actually did a deal. I don't remember the details of that exactly, but you sent out a post on Facebook or one of those groups, and I saw the deal and was like, that's a nice wholesale deal. And sent you a message. I'm pretty sure that you got messages from a bunch of people on that one. Why did we work together? I don't remember it exactly. What was it that made you pick me for that deal?
Yeah, so I would say it's two things. One, after I preached that Sunday, you had hit me up on Instagram and just wanted to touch base, and you had noticed that I was following a handful of people in the real estate space, and you might have seen my name pop up in one of the groups, so you knew that I was kind of in the space. So you introduced yourself. I kind of already knew of you because you're kind of famous here in Kansas City a little bit, and so when I posted out the deal, you were on it quick. You reached out to me. So one, we had the connection from church. I knew that you were going to close, right? As a wholesaler, you need trusted buyers. We're dealing with people's livelihoods, right? And your word is important. So I knew you were good on that front. And then two, you were going to buy a sight unseen. So
there you go.
Yeah. So I didn't have to set up a showing and have all these buyers go through, because I was going to have like 20 buyers, and I probably would have made maybe extra, I don't know, 5, 10K potentially, but sometimes it's not worth the emotional tax that you go through with these buyers walking through, and the sellers like, what's happening? And I
actually preach this like crazy.
Yeah.
You'll see on my channel that my buyers list is small, 6-10 people. How did I find my buyers list? I looked online, saw who was buying houses, skip traced them, cold called them, and said, hey, look, I got a lot of good deals. Can you give me an offer just from really good pictures and video, and can you buy them blind? And that's how I came up with my guys. It's still that way now. Could I make a little bit more money, like you're saying, on every deal by having the cattle call and having the I call them block parties, right, where you have everyone come to the house? But I've always found that to be just a little disingenuous, a little disrespectful to the seller. Yeah. It's like, if it was me, I wouldn't want that. So interesting that was what did it for you. But with Winston, I was very impressed with that interaction, how he spoke, how he conducted himself, how professional he was. And I knew from that moment I wanted to hire you, but Winston was balling, all right? He was doing a bunch of different deals, and he wasn't quite ready to work for me yet, but I kept kind of pursuing you, kept talking on occasion. Finally, a few months back, reached out again, just wanted to see what you were up to. What kind of had changed? What kind of led you to work at our company? Just kind of explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so I think the natural progression for anybody who gets into real estate is wholesaling, right? That's kind of tier one. And then you get into fix and flips, and then you start hiring and, you start trying to grow an operation. And that's what I did all of last year, 2023. The only problem with 2023 was that, economy wasn't in the best shape. Just having cash flow issues, doing deals, money going in, money coming out, trying to hire people, overhead. These are just things that you just don't really take into account, right? You're just kind of just not winging it, because there's obviously a ton of information. I'm taking prior experiences, trying to piece it all together. But the economy last year definitely didn't help me in those regards. Did a ton of marketing, right? We were pumping a ton of direct mail. We're doing deals, but again, money going in, money going out. At the end of the day, it's what you're bringing home.
And you weren't alone on that. I mean, 2023, even for me, I'd been doing the business 8-9 years. We had a tough year too. I mean, we're going through the same situation. I'm scaling, I'm doing deals, I'm hiring people, but the economy changed and the dynamics of the market changed. Mm-hmm. We were back 21, 22, we had the whole hedge fund phenomena to where you didn't even have to buy a house at a discount. You could just pass them to them and they would buy the houses, as is, with people in there for above market value. What happened was we were creating kind of bad habits. And I think you and I alike, along with investors across the country, we probably thought we were a little better than we were. Yes. And last year, I got humbled a little bit with some cash flow issues, just like Winston. So don't think that just because, you see me as someone who does a ton of deals that I'm perfect. I experience the same issues that everyone else does. We're all trying to get a little bit better each day. But so we connected, we met, we talked. You had a lot of other people that I'm sure would have loved to hire you in the Kansas City area. What about me and my company drew you in?
Yeah, I would go back to the reason why we did our deal when there was a ton of other people reaching out to me. They're men of faith, and even though I didn't know you quite well from a distance, I can observe. And then every time we did interact, there was discernment. I knew that you were really about what it was that you preached. So I talked to my wife about it and prayed about it and just had a ton of peace. Yeah,
love that.
Yeah, just had a ton of peace that that I believe God's hand is on your business, and that's the type of company I want to work for.
Love that.
Yeah.
So you got started. I had you start with working with wholesalers, connecting with them. You're a well-spoken, good-looking dude, and I thought you would connect really well with all the wholesalers in the area, bring in deals that way. Kind of explain that whole process, a couple of the deals that you brought in, and maybe why you kind of wanted to drift away from that and how your heart was feeling about it.
Yeah. I think, one, wholesaler deals are great. If you can get one, they're phenomenal, right? Because
they're free.
Yeah, they're free. So, and that was, you have a name, a reputation here at Kansas City. So I think just it would have been a high leverage, easy lever to pull, leverage what you've already created. I get in front of these wholesalers, stay in front of them, work the deals. And I think I did it for a few weeks, and just the deals weren't penciling out right. Mm-hmm. Right? There were just, all of them were super tight and just running around, running comps, giving offers, and not lowballing, but it's just the numbers just weren't etching out, just doing a whole bunch of running. And then if one kind of makes sense, it's still like not super juicy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just like, I wanted to pivot, I wanted to change because, again, as much as I love you, Michael, and love real estate, I'm in it to provide for my family as well, and take care of them. So,
and I remember that conversation clearly.
Yeah.
He had locked up 2 or 3 deals from wholesalers, a couple of them pretty decent. But at the end of the day, even when I do it with wholesalers, there's something that's very transactional about it. It's very black and white. There's nothing exciting about it because we didn't really solve a problem for a seller. There's something about that just makes it not as exciting. So you approached me about niche lists. You're like, this is what you've been talking about for years and years. I'd kind of like to learn that. So we actually had just a couple of conversations. I hadn't really trained you up, hadn't really gone deep. We'd gone over a few frameworks, where to look for the deals, kind of how to have those conversations. But to his credit, he went out there and took imperfect action, and he relied on me when the opportunities came to educate him up, and he has absolutely crushed it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through 3 different deals that Winston has sourced and signed. We're going to talk about how he found them, how those appointments kind of went, what type of problems we solved for those sellers, what type of profit we're looking at. So we're going to go through a few of those things. So we're going to start with the first one, Independence Avenue in Independence, Missouri.
Yep.
Okay, so give some context. How did you find this deal? Give the audience kind of an idea of how long it took you from our initial conversation to conversation with the seller. Kind of give them some context on that.
Absolutely. So the conversation that we had, there were really 2 main things that I took from that conversation. Was we're going to prospect or approach potential clients through the notice of default or appointments here in Kansas City in the last 10 days. And so that's where
my man listened. All right. I preach this all the time. Okay. You're going to have deals in that first 10 days. People want to take action. They just cannot stand the thought of something going wrong with their property. They're good people. They've gone through something and they just have to take action right away. Appointments, notice of default. Then you got the last minuters. The people that wait till the last second, they stick their head in the sand, they procrastinate, and we can serve those people. So keep going on this deal here.
Yep. So the appointments came out in the CRM. We spoke, and then that next week is when I decided, okay, I'm going to go door knock. I think you were out of town or something. So I was just like, skip it, let's go do it. And I've never knocked nobody's door. All of my deals have come from other ways. So I'm sure I'm dealing with a lot of issues or emotional turmoil like a lot of people when they first do it, and I was pretty nervous. Just said a prayer. It was like, Lord, I don't know what I'm doing, but if there's somebody that can use my help, let's do it.
Imperfect action.
Yes, that's it. And so I knocked a few doors, and on day 1, it was a 2-day ordeal. So day 1, didn't get a hold of anyone, just left stickies. Day 2, my second day door knocking, door knock, got to my last address, door knocked it, someone came out, an older gentleman. He is dealing with some health issues, so his daughter came out. I spoke with her, just introduced myself, let her know kind of what was happening. The lender's been giving you grief, just did the script that you always do, and I'm here to help. Well, she called her mom, and she gave me her mom's number. I immediately called the mom when I got in the car, introduced myself, actually left a voicemail. She called me back, set up an appointment, and you were back in town. And I said, hey, we got an appointment. At first, I was about to go wing that bad boy, too. And I was like, I think you should come with me, Michael.
So for some added context for the people listening, the people that are new to niche, new to pre-foreclosures, how many doors do you think you knocked before you had that good conversation there where you set up an appointment?
It was under 10. Bruh. Yeah, it was under 10 for sure.
Guys, if you're out there and you're having trouble making ends meet, both Winston and I have been through that ourselves. That just goes to show he didn't know anything about niche lists, didn't know anything about pre-foreclosures. He went out there, we provided him some good information, he took the action, really cared about the seller. 10 knocks. Is that the same result for everyone? No. It might be 10 knocks, it might be 50, it might be 100. But if you take that action for 30 days or so, you're going to have some opportunity. And did Winston know what to do next? He probably could have figured it out. He probably could have winged it. But what he did was bring someone in that had a lot of experience. So that's what you need to do in your market. Go out there, take the action, find someone that needs help. You probably won't know how to solve their problem. Find someone you really trust in your market. Bring them in, JV that deal. So we set up that appointment. Explain that whole scenario to me when we were at the house. Did it feel like a big sales pitch? Did it feel like we were forcing them into doing what we wanted them to do? Kind of explain what you saw.
Yeah. So I seen you come in, and we sat down around a table. And
first thing, I don't mean to cut Winston off. First thing that I try to do, guys, I try to sit around a dining room table, a couch, try to really get to know that person first, because what's everyone else doing? They're looking at the house. They immediately go look at the house. But we distinguish ourselves immediately by sitting down, getting to know them. It's a little nugget for you. Keep going.
100%. And then you sat down, obviously made all the introductions. You kind of lean, do one of these numbers, and you go, so catch me up to speed. What's happening?
Powerful.
Powerful. And they just let it all out. You know, they gave the entire situation, what was happening. Older lady, she's been working her whole life, just got behind. They have another family living in the home, and they're not holding up their end of it with helping this sweet lady. It was a family. The whole family was there, really. There's another daughter. She came and tagged along, and they just need our help. This lady, she's very the one that got behind. You could tell she's strong-willed, sweet, kind. Just been trying to carry the weight of her household, and just couldn't do it.
Yeah. So what we did in that appointment was we walked through our framework that we do with foreclosures. The same play every time.
Yeah.
We walk them through our options, of which there are 5, reinstatement, loan modification, bankruptcy, cash sale, and subject to. When I went through those, you were observing, because it was your first time seeing a Sub2 pitch. Did it feel like I was guiding them in a way that would only serve me, or did I appear genuine and wanting them to go down a path that served them the most?
Oh, genuine, genuine 100%. It was not that you're pushing them away from it, but it's almost to that extent. You know, like, do you have somebody, do you have a 401k, friends, family? How can we get this thing back reinstated? And we don't have any, we don't have anyone. We don't have the 401k. There's nothing we can borrow against to get it caught up, and then you just kept going. Step 2, loan modification. They've already got a good interest rate. They had refi, they had did some other stuff not too long ago. Like, that didn't seem like a good option. Bankruptcy, they didn't want to do that. Cash sale, they wanted to stay in their home, right? Again, they're older family, multi-family type house. It'd be hard to get all of them into a new place. Get to Sub2, they kind of perk up a little bit, and they see the value in that, see the value that we can provide, what allow them to stay in their property while keeping the house out of foreclosure, and that's the one they decided to go with. But to answer your question, you just took them through every single step and just let them come to the conclusion. You're not trying to strong arm or get them to make a certain decision. If you would have said reinstate the loan, you have a family, and they said, yeah, I have a rich brother or uncle who can get it back, you would have said, Congratulations. Let's do that. Right. Let's pursue that.
Right.
Let's go have that conversation and let me know how that conversation goes, and we can talk about it. But yeah, you're just laying all the options out there and allowing them to ultimately decide what they want to do.
Do you think that it took expert sales skills, any type of, incredible ability, years of experience to have that conversation? Obviously, you want to see that a time or two, but did you feel like after watching that, yeah, I could probably do that. I might stumble a little bit over my words and stuff, but I think I can do it.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a sales pitch at all. You're literally just providing value. That's it.
Guys, that's the key.
Yeah.
Okay. Come into an appointment, divorce your desire from the person on the other side of the table, provide value, truly care for them, and the deals will come. Yeah. So we went ahead and locked up that deal.
Yep. They
were thrilled. We were thrilled. Okay, we closed on this deal a few days ago now. Mm-hmm. Tell them kind of about the future profit that we're kind of expecting on that deal.
Yeah, so it's we have at least definitely 6 figures in equity, 6-figure plus in equity for sure. It's whether they decide to buy it back or they decide to move on, we're gonna do really well on it.
First deal, $100,000 in equity. Yeah. Hey, we bought this thing subject to for $90,000. Yeah. We think, give or take, the property's worth $260,000, $275,000, somewhere in there. It probably needs $40,000 or $50,000 in repairs, something like that. Huge spread. Okay, were they happy to sign this deal over to us? Did they seem super reluctant? We're gonna make $100,000. Were they super upset? How were they feeling?
They were thrilled. At the appointment, they were actually ready to sign the paperwork. It was a Saturday when we went over there. And we was just like, I can't exactly, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but some of the lines of, if you guys aren't in any rush, let's just do it tomorrow. And after church, me and you went over there and we got it signed. But no, there was no reluctancy. They were ready to sign at the appointment. So they were thrilled.
Guys, first deal, 6-figure profit. Sellers are thrilled. We're thrilled. These are the types of deals we're looking for. But that's not the only deal we got. We came across a deal where it was vacant. You went out and door knocked. You came across a vacant house. The average investor is saying, well, it's vacant. I don't know what to do about it. Sure. What did Winston do to find some opportunity when the house was vacant? So
as I was approaching the door, this is a little nuance I don't think I've even shared with you. I knocked the door. The mailbox was overflowing, and there were some neighbors. They were sitting on their front porch, and they were just the neighboring house. And I just said, excuse me, how are you guys? My name is Winston. I'm local pre-foreclosure advisor. Have you all had any contact or know any, what's going on with the property? Something along that. I don't know if it was exactly that. And they just let me know that the son was living there. He's not there. It's been vacant for a handful of years. So I heard the son's been living there and he's not there no more. So I immediately let you know that it was vacant. You let me know what some of the processes and some of the things that we do to find these people. A lot of these resources are free, using county websites, free people search, and my favorite, Facebook
messages.
Yes. So I found the owner and what looked like to be the son on Facebook, reached out to him, messaged him. This was like at maybe like 9 p.m. I just had this inkling, just this little something, just, the spirit was like, message these people. Because I've been trying to call the rest of the evening, couldn't get a hold of nobody. I was like, the best time to do it is now. The babies were asleep. Like, let's message this dude. And he hit me back.
What was that message like? So the first question I'm going to get, well, Winston had the perfect script, the perfect message. Do you remember in general what that message said to that seller on Facebook there?
Yeah, it was, hey, Tim, my name is Winston. I know this is a little out the blue. Do you happen to own blank property? That's it.
Guys, it doesn't take some expert script to get these deals. You just got to do the amount of activities that are going to generate a result. This may have been one of Winston's first few Facebook messages ever sent for this.
Yeah.
Same with door knocking. 10, 15 doors, few Facebook messages. So that seller responds.
Yep.
What do they say?
So we go back and forth on message for a little bit, and then he just gave me his number. I called him immediately. He got one of the other siblings on the line, and we were at 10 p.m. just talking about the property, the scenario, what's happening, and we concluded the conversation with, let's set up an appointment, let's meet you over at the property, and let's talk through the next steps would be to keeping the property from foreclosure.
So again, he found a vacant property. It was in pre-foreclosure. We also knew that it was going to be kind of a messy probate situation. So again, Winston could have shied away from that because he didn't necessarily know the intricacies of probate, but he brought me in. We went to that appointment, and what was that appointment like? Was it similar to the last one where they were happy that we were there, they were receptive to what we had to say, or were they kind of dismissive and rude? Kind of explain the emotions of the seller.
Yeah. This one was different in the sense that it was vacant, but because the property was owned by their mother and father, who's now deceased, there was emotion, but it was a different type of emotion, right? I think they haven't been to the property much, just because of the memories and the strong connection they had, with their mother. So it was emotional in that sense.
Yes.
Right. Just processing, having a dialogue, and then next thing you know, somebody's emotional. Somebody's just out of nowhere, and in those moments, and at the other property, Independence, I think this is where the ministry and the just truly caring and loving for people, because at that point for me, it's not even about the house, it's somebody is hurting, somebody is in pain, and I have an opportunity to come alongside them in any way I possibly can. If that's just a prayer or whatever that looks like, at that point, that's what I'm trying to do, right? Is just meet these people in this very emotional circumstance that they're currently in.
Preacher Winston coming out. No wiser words, man. It's never about the house.
Yeah.
The house is almost irrelevant. You've been in a lot of houses. I've been in thousands and thousands of houses. You don't really care about that. Mm-hmm. It's about the person on the other side of the table, what they're going through. Guys, these people are going through some of the toughest points of their life. Mm-hmm. They've lost family. They've gone through terrible situations, and they're needing someone to come alongside them that truly cares about them and provides some value. So that's what we were doing at this appointment. They'd had no idea how to deal with probate. Mm-hmm. And Winston and I did a lot of digging before that appointment. We were pretty prepared, and I was able to explain to them the exact process that they were going to have to go through probate. And I think that gave them a lot of peace, a lot of confidence, gave us some authority. Mm-hmm. Okay? So how did that appointment conclude? Did we ink it up on the spot? How did that end up?
Yeah, so we didn't ink it up on the spot. There, we definitely, put it in front of them. We were there in the evening away from our families. We designated, time away from our loved ones. So yeah, we came to bring value, came to meet the emotional needs and the seller needs, and we definitely put that on the table.
Yeah, I was trying to lock that deal up on the spot. But there are times when the seller said, I need to think about it.
Yep.
Now, there's the objection where people will say, I need to think about it. That's just a polite way of saying no. And then there's the people that they really have to think about it.
Yes.
After we left that appointment, we were both kind of a little bummed probably that we didn't sign it. But in your heart, did you feel like there was anyone else signing that deal?
No, not with the conversation that we were able to have with them and just all the value that we were able to bring to them. They, said they were never going to come back to the property anyway. We knew.
Yeah.
And you will have those sellers where they truly need to think about it, So provide the value, try to get it signed. But if they truly need to think about it because they got so much stuff going on emotionally and just overwhelmed. This literally the day before at 10 p.m., some dude named Winston reached out to him, and now they're at this property that they didn't want to necessarily be at. We explained in the probate, it's a lot to consume, right? A lot has happened in a short amount of time that they weren't prepared for anyway. This guy needed some time to think about it.
100%.
Yep.
So a few days later, they reached out. They were good to go. You went over there, inked up the deal. Then we went ahead and assigned that thing. Can you tell me a little bit, I don't know the exact numbers, but you probably remember a little bit better than me. What kind of assignment were we looking at on that deal?
Yep. So we locked it up at 61 and found the buyer at 99. So my math is right. Is that 38?
$38,000. I am a math teacher, right? So first deal, $100,000 in equity. It's going to take a little bit longer to realize profit on that one. Second deal, $38K. We're up to $138,000. How long have you been doing niche list up to this point?
So that was the second week.
Second week, $138,000. So first one, it was a situation where the seller needed to stay in the house. We did a sub-2. Second deal, vacant house, dealing with probate. He's seen a lot already. Hey, we're going to talk about one more over there on 41st Street, over off of 70.
Yep.
Okay. Tell everyone how we got a hold of those people. We kind of worked together on that one.
Yeah.
Bring them up to speed.
Yep. So the other two were on the notice of defaults. And then this one was last 10 days. And their sale was maybe 5 days out from when we contacted them.
So again, quick reminder, the first two deals we talked about, first 10 days notice of default. Last deal we're about to go over, last 5 days pre-foreclosure. I preach this over and over. That's where the motivation is. Keep going.
Yep. And so we looked into the property. It did have a different name on title, there was a different name on title. You did some research, you dug into it, and you looked to see if there was probate done on the property. And then once you looked through county records, saw that there was probate that had been done on the property, although it hadn't changed the actual name on the title. It was still in process, but the probate part had been worked on. So we were able to find out that there was 3 brothers tied to this property. And in the probate document, we were able to find one of the brothers who was living in a neighboring city. So
what did I tell you to do? We looked through probate records. We found that other address. Most people are going to be really passive on that. They're not going to take action on it. They're going to go to the house we're looking at. No one answered. I told you, I just have that feeling. Winston, I really think you should go over to that address. You went over there. What happened?
Yep, I knocked it. I introduced myself. Sweet lady was living there. She invited me in. I explained, there's a sale. And we, had a conversation about the property. And she actually called the brother up. She called one of the brothers up on the phone. I got to talk to him. I introduced myself, let him know. He realized that the sale was going to happen. He got the other brother involved, set up an appointment. I had a really great conversation with the lady that was living in the house. She was a father of Christ as well. So we just chopped it up, and it was just an enjoyable experience. Was able to help these brothers. We eventually set up an appointment. Another late evening. Our wives are going to kill us.
For another time. But guys, perfect example. We're creating opportunity out of thin air.
Yeah.
Okay, we did a little bit of research, had a hunch, went and looked at a property. All of a sudden, someone's spilling their guts, giving you contact information, setting you up with the people that need to. This is how quick things can happen with niche lists. So we have a late night appointment with these two sellers. Okay, we go through their options again. We can do reinstatement. Do you have the money? No. Do you have ability to do a loan mod? Well, it's not even in our name yet. Can't do it. Don't want to do bankruptcy. They weren't wanting to talk about cash or Sub2. They really wanted to see if they had a friend that could reinstate the property. They weren't confident about it, okay? But they needed to do that due diligence, and we encouraged them to do that, okay? So a couple of days go by. You keep reaching out. They say, my contact doesn't have the money. I think I'm going to file bankruptcy. What was your feeling at that point when he sent that message?
This dude's going to file bankruptcy.
That this dude's going to file bankruptcy. So obviously we're out there to serve. We're obviously helping them do the best thing for them. But I'm a competitive dude. You're a competitive dude. You're a professional athlete, right? So I think Winston, I don't know what you thought when he said that. You thought the deal was, did you have a feeling that the deal was dead at that point?
I didn't think it was dead because I know that you've worked with people with that option, and even once they got on the other side of that, or however long the period is, like, you've been able to help people. So I knew that we were going to be able to help these dudes, at some point during the process. But yeah, there was a little part of me is just, but now today's not today.
Right. So Winston's sending me screenshots of his phone. Again, he's new. He's not had these conversations before, but just like he was a student of football, he's a student of real estate. So he was sending me back and forth this conversation. He's like, Michael, what should I say? The guy's saying, I'm going to file bankruptcy. And most investors, they're going to say, oh, well, okay, good luck with that. Okay, but you always take the next step. Always ask the next question. You're always a few feet from gold, right? So I just tell him to say, hey, bankruptcy costs a couple $1,000 to get started. The attorney's going to want that up front. Ask him if he has the money. What did he say?
He said, nope.
He said, nope. Then he was wanting us pretty much immediately to come over there, have a conversation, sign a contract. And we talked about how we'd had some late appointments. Well, I got a little trouble with my wife. So it was actually a blessing because Winston had to go over there. They agreed to sign subject to, but this time he was going to have to do it on his own. Okay, he'd seen it a couple times, maybe in some training videos, maybe the other time at that Independence House that I presented it. What were you feeling like when you were having to present that to them, knowing that you weren't a complete expert on it? You'd seen it a few times. What did that feel like? How did it go?
I was sweating. Bullets, brother. I was just praying like, Lord, I hope I don't mess this up. Like, I had no idea, honestly. I seen you do it, but I'm looking at the sellers. There's so many things that are happening, especially in the beginning. I'm not looking at you do the Sub2 pitch to a T. Like, that's not my main focus. There's so much happening. So I'm trying to remember, aspects of that appointment. You have a video on YouTube of you going through that.
Second video on YouTube.
Second video on YouTube. I put that bad boy on the playback speed, like 1.5 or 2, because I listened to it on the way to the appointment. I had 8 minutes to get there. The video is 12 minutes. Okay, let's cut that in time. So you're talking 100 miles per hour on the video, and I'm trying to remember it all. So I get there, they want me to re-explain it all to them again. Okay, before I left the paperwork in the car, I didn't bring that stuff. I just knocked on, just brought myself. So I'm explaining it to them to the best of my ability. Stuff ain't rocket science.
Was it perfect, your pitch?
No, it wasn't. Nope. But I think at the end of the day, or at least what I've gathered so far, when it comes to the Sub2, what people want to know more than anything else, more than the technical aspects of it, they're important is the investor, right? The company or the person behind they're about to get into this agreement with.
Do they trust you?
Do they trust you? And so I was leaning more heavily on that piece is, we do this. You already read our reviews. Man, Michael is a man of integrity. Met this dude at church. Like, I'm just letting them know we good people. Like, we got you, bro. Like, we're going to take care of you. This isn't going to get to foreclosure. And so that's really what he was relying on. And I'd imagine a lot of the same with East Independence, the other people we've been able to help. The technicalities are important. The details of the contract, all of it is important. But do they trust you?
Building that rapport up front is everything. Mm-hmm. If Winston hadn't taken the time to really get to know them, really make them feel heard, go through all their options, and then get to that appointment and maybe stumble over a word here and there, if that trust wasn't built, I don't know if that deal gets done. Yeah. So guys, you have to provide value up front. Mm-hmm. You truly got to care about that person, go through all their options, support them in any direction they want to go, and deals will happen. So I was kind of nervous for Winston at home because I was just sitting there kind of waiting for the text that he got it. So he finally pings me, hey, I got the deal. Tell them about this deal and the numbers.
Sure. So just to back up, just a little bit before the numbers, right. There was, he goes, how long is it going to take to fill this out? In my mind, Michael did it in 12 minutes. I can do it in 20, just because, I'm just going to add a little buffer in there. And so I go and get it. And 20 minutes goes by, 30 minutes go. We get to like 40 minutes. This dude's like, I thought you said it would be 20 minutes. And like an hour goes by, and him and his brother, they just giving me crap the whole time just because I said it's 20 minutes. But we got it done. We got everything signed. Brought it back to you. We buttoned it up. Got it taken care of. And I think this one is another crazy deal. It's another 100K plus, like 125. The other one as well. These are like 100. These are six-figure plus.
Guys, this deal, we took it Sub2, 57K, right? It needs quite a bit of repair. I would say 60,000 or so in repairs. So let's say we're 100, 110 in, something like that. Yeah. This place is a 225 ARV all day long.
All day.
Guys, so we're 3 deals in to what Winston's accomplished. We have 2 potential 6-figure deals. We have another nice 30K rip.
And some more that we ain't talked about.
And some more that we're not even going to talk about today. Okay, but guys, that right there is almost $250,000 in equity from a few weeks of Winston's time. I'm pretty sure anyone watching this could say that could change your family forever. Okay, how has this changed your mentality? You'd done a ton of deals before you met me, but how does this change going niche? How do you feel about it?
I think the first thing that kind of comes to mind is gives you clarity. Like, I know what I'm going to do on a day-to-day basis. I know exactly what list I'm going after. There's 1,000,001 ways in which you can make money in real estate. You drive it out. You can do it. There's a whole bunch of ways. And what niche does, it gives you clarity. You put the blinders on to all the other ways in which you can make money or generate leads.
Gives you focus.
Gives you focus. right? And focus is needed, especially in this space. Another aspect that I appreciate, niche, because I look back on my journey, and a lot of my lead generating activities cost a ton of money, right? Whereas this county data, it's free. I mean, you have to have a VA and to really do it right, but in the grand scheme of it all, the return on investment is stupid.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How much did it cost you to door knock that house, that first one?
Tank of gas, $20.
$20 for a return of $100,000?
Yeah.
How much did it cost to send you that Facebook message to the second seller?
Just a couple of finger clicks. Just
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, the return on investment's ridiculous. All you're doing is putting your time, sweat, effort into it, and you can have some huge results. I got 2 more questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. Niche. What are the skills you feel like are most important to be successful, or perhaps character attributes? What do you think really would make a successful niche investor?
I think the first one that comes to mind is empathy. Like you gotta care about people with niche. These people are dealing. It's a window of time where circumstances aren't in their favor, and they're going through a lot. There's a lot of emotional, angst going on with this seller. So you need to, one, care. You need to have some EQ about you. You gotta be able to feel for these people, because they gotta be able to trust you.
Yes.
Like, they're already going through a lot. Who is this dude knocking on my door? I remember that first door knock I knocked, and she looked me up and down. She observed me. We locked eyes, and an ease came over her. I believe that she felt that I'm here to help, because that's what I'm here to do. There's no other ulterior motives, and people they know.
They can feel it.
They can feel it, So you can't be sleazy and be a niche. That's number 1. I think 2 is persistence, right? It's not, we shared a lot of highlights on this, but it's not always like that. You're going to knock doors, and you're going to drive from one side of town to the other side of town every single day. You're going to have some late night appointments. It's not peaches and cream. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically and emotionally, because, again, the situations that we're dealing with, these aren't normal situations that you deal with on a day that the average person would deal with. Right. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself, kind of sidetracked again, but persistence, discipline, consistency. I would say those are some of the main characteristics. And then I think to really fast track it is, I think in time I would have been able to piece some of this stuff together because I've been in the space, but because I've had you, when I can screenshot something to you and you can, coach me or help me, critique me, being able to see you do these appointments has helped tremendously. It's niche is simple
simple, but it's complex.
It's simple but complex, right? And that shouldn't steer you away from it. That should actually excite you, because not everybody's cut for it, right? And over time, it's when I think about my football days or any sport, really, you create these skills and you say these little words over and over, and they laugh, and I'm just watching, because that's just years and years of doing this and having these these conversations. And so with time, you can only get better.
Yes. Skills get the deals.
Skills
guys.
pay the
You
bills.
gotta stack those skills. Over time, you come to an appointment, it's like, I've seen that one before.
Right.
I've seen this situation before. I know exactly what to do. Yeah. You can lay that out to the seller. They're like, this person cares about me. This person knows exactly what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I feel safe. And that's what's cool about what you're talking about, niche investing. Mm-hmm. Over time, you stack the skills. Mm-hmm. Then you can be more valuable than you were the day before every time you see a situation. So I love that. Obviously, you're an A player. I'd love you to be on my team forever. But A players have big goals, big dreams. 24 months from now, where do you see yourself? What do you want to be doing? What would you like to provide for your family? Paint a picture for everyone.
Oh, that's a good question. I definitely will have to be excited about what I'm doing. Mm. I'm one of those type of people where I'm shooting for the stars. I gotta be the man in the arena. It's been my life. If I'm not in the arena, I straight up get depressed, bro.
There's no joy when you're not in the arena.
No, I gotta get in the arena. So first thing first is providing as much value as I can to East West and niche, and give back to the brand and the company what I believe you've been able to give to me in this short window of time. So for the next 12, 24 months, just like go crazy. Like Q2 is right now, I'm ready to go crazy. Just get as many deals as I can, be a blessing to the company, be a blessing to my family, be a blessing to the people that I interact with on these appointments. And then eventually take East West, take niche in another market, potentially. Mm-hmm. Go to a neighboring city or one of the bigger cities in, here in the U.S. and take what I've learned and developed over my life and my time here and implement, another East West niche branch and just keep the ball going,
Beautiful. I want you to take a second, collect your thoughts on a final good word to give to the listeners. I'm going to go over, don't worry about it. You got it. Okay, I'm going to give a few announcements. Guys, Q2, hey, we are going to be launching the niche community here in Q2 sometime. We're grinding away trying to make this thing great for you guys. Join the free Facebook group, Niche Real Estate with Michael Frankie. There's all kinds of people in there that are going through scenarios, talking about deals, how to push them over the fence to the right side, trying to gain some wisdom and encourage each other. Go join that, okay? Go join my YouTube. There's so many videos. We're going to be providing so much value in 2024. You can easily, if you are persistent, one of our keywords, you can create a 6-figure a month operation just from the free information on that channel. Okay, so go join those things. Join the niche community. Winston,
I'm back. All right.
You're back. What's the one piece of information you'd like to give the listener to kind of wrap this all up?
Sure. We could be here for another 30 minutes, by the way. But I would say fight for clarity. Fight for clarity with what it is, who God has made you to be, who is He to you, and what has He called you to do. And you may not even know exactly in this season, because God could be using this season for a potential another season, right? But for right now, fight for the clarity as to what exactly you're supposed to be doing, right? Our world, in the world in which we live, opportunity is endless, right? And I have fallen victim to this because somebody that's driven and wants to go do stuff, I see something and believe with all my heart I can do it. So I'll go try it.
Right?
It. But you do that so many times, you reset, and you're never able to plant deep enough roots to really have a mature tree that would truly bear fruit, right?
There's some serious wisdom being thrown here, man. Woo!
Yes. So make up your mind, ask the Lord, give you clarity. If it's with the niche and you've been doing deals other ways, but now it's time to draw the line in the sand. I'm only working pre-foreclosures. Oh, you know how much clarity that gives you in the morning? That changes everything.
Everything.
Right? And if it's something else, if it's direct mail, if it's just go all in on that one thing. Clarity. I think that would be the biggest thing is there's time, there's season for different things. But in this particular season, what do you need to zero in on? What do you need to eliminate? And what do you need to double down on right now? Because then you have purpose. Now you're not distracted. That's when the anxiety comes from and all the other complicated emotions that we feel. But clarity, I think that would be the message I would give to the community. Fight for that.
Clarity above all. Guys, down in the comment section, I really want you to put, what are you going to focus on in the next 30 days? My Q2 mantra is focus. Yours should be the same. Put your focus down in the comments. Can't think of a better way to end that. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sharing the last couple weeks that we've gone through, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.